The longest government shutdown in U.S. history could come to an end tonight if the House approves a funding package and sends it to the twice-impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief Donald the Con Trump for signature. The lower chamber is returning for the first time since September 19th and is set to vote on final passage in just about an hour. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the vote will reopen the government.
We believe the long national nightmare will be over tonight. It was completely and utterly foolish and pointless in the end, as we said all along. I just want to apologize to any Americans who are out there who still have flight cancellations or delays today. I want to apologize to the many American families who were made to go hungry over the last several weeks, our troops and other federal employees who are wondering where their next paycheck would come from. All of that's on the Democrats. Just never forget, they voted 15 times between the House and the Senate to close your government. And the Republicans tried every single day of the shutdown to open it, and we voted 15 times to do that. They have a lot to answer for, and I just want to say that we're very optimistic about the vote tally tonight. We think this is going to happen, and we're sorry that it took this long. So Republicans are going to deliver for the people. We're ready to get back to our legislative agenda. We have a very aggressive calendar for the remainder of this year. There'll be some long days and nights here, some long working weeks, but we will get this thing back on track.
Well, you haven't been working, so don't be complaining about some long days. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says Democrats remain opposed to the MAGA spending bill that will gut health care, impacting millions of Americans.
House Democrats are here on the Capitol steps to reiterate our strong opposition to this spending bill because it fails to address the Republican health care crisis and it fails to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. House Democrats will continue to support our men and women in uniform. We will continue to support hardworking federal employees. We will continue to support our law enforcement personnel. House Democrats will continue to support our air traffic controllers. We will continue to support our TSA agents. We will continue to support our civil servants who have been under attack since day one of the Trump administration. But we cannot support the Republican effort to gut the health care of the American people. Today, House Democrats will introduce legislation to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for 3 years, to make sure that tens of millions of Americans don't experience dramatically increased premiums, co-pays, and deductibles. We believe that working-class Americans, middle-class Americans, and everyday Americans deserve the same level of certainty that Republicans always provide to the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected. The same level of certainty. And so we're calling upon our Republican colleagues to join us and extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And we will be working hard today, tomorrow, and throughout the balance of this year to make sure that those Affordable Care Act tax credits are extended. Now, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They own the mess that has been created in the United States of America. They own it. In a few hours, we will convene on the House floor. And our message to the American people is no matter what happens on the floor later on today, our promise to you remains the same. House Democrats will continue to fight to make your life more affordable. House Democrats will continue the fight to address the Republican health care crisis, and House Democrats will fight to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. This fight is not over. We're just getting started.
All right, folks, my panel, Rebecca Carruthers, President and CEO of Fair Election Center out of D.C., Dr. Zackory Kirk, educator and content creator, Dr. Larry J. Walker, Associate Professor, University of Central Florida, will be joining us as well. So glad to have all three of y'all here, so let's get right to it. Rebecca, listen, Republicans are going to pass this. We already know this. They are going to gut health care. We know this as well. regardless of this stupid ass promise that Senator Dick Durbin said Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune gave him to take it up for a vote. They cut it before they're going to. They're not going to reinstate these subsidies again. So let's just be real clear about what's going to happen. People need to simply prepare themselves for their health care premiums skyrocketing, and the people who should get the blame for it are Donald Trump and Republican House and Senate members. Period. Full stop.
Roland, back in 2009, I worked on Capitol Hill. I worked for Congressman John Dingell, and one of the pieces of policy that I worked on was the Affordable Care Act. What's interesting to point out, the Affordable Care Act, the way it is enacted now, is actually Republican legislation. When I think about when then Governor Mitt Romney in Massachusetts had Romney Care, which also had subsidies payments to make sure that people could have affordable premiums. At the time, there was a lot of fighting in the Democratic caucus because, quite frankly, there was a push led by the late Representative John Conyers to have single payer, i.e. Medicare for all. But instead, the Obama White House decided to negotiate with some of the Democrats on the Hill and negotiate among themselves because, unfortunately, at the time, Republicans refused to show up to the negotiating table. And so what ended up happening is the legislation that we have now. So it's very ironic watching the Republicans say for the last 10 years that they want to repeal and replace Obamacare. In reality, the reason why they haven't presented an alternative is because this is the type of legislation that used to be part of the Republican philosophy. At this point, the alternative to the Affordable Care Act, if you don't like the Affordable Care Act, is single payer, is Medicare for all. So I'm very curious to see if Democrats in the House start pushing and reintroducing a single payer bill.
The thing here, Larry, is simple, and it's going to skyrocket. You're going to have rural hospitals shut down. And a lot of these red state MAGA people are going to be crying and moaning because they're going to have loved ones passing away and folks not being able to get care because they chose to vote for these idiots.
Yeah, Roland, this is like what we've seen here, and obviously with the subsidies about to expire, you highlighted red states like Florida in particular are really dependent on these subsidies. And a lot of people voted for their own demise, which is a part of a long history in this country. And Roland, we've talked about in your show the last couple of weeks, folks are getting, notices in the mail that their rates are going to go up dramatically. And what's going to happen is the uninsured rate is going to go up. And you talked about these rural hospitals that'll close. People won't have access. You talk about the disproportionate impact that will have on women who are pregnant. It will likely increase infant and pregnancy mortality rates, and we know particularly how those issues impact Black folks. The other thing is, Roland, is those individuals who won't be able to afford to have insurance anymore, it's going to increase the mortality rate in a lot of these red states who already depend on the federal government disproportionately compared to some of these blue states. And this is going to be a long-term trend. And we're not prepared for the millions of individuals who are going to lose their health insurance, some who are going to file for bankruptcy, and other issues it's going to increase issues relating to mental health and other, financial strains, not only on parents and grandparents, but also children. And there's also going to increase debt ratios in underserved communities throughout the United States.
Look, it is. And so, I mean, I keep saying over and over and over again, Zackory, that sometimes you got to show them better than you can tell them. And these people are going to have to feel real pain before they wake the hell up and go, damn, y'all were not lying. No, we tried to tell you.
Repeatedly. And let me tell you who else needs to feel some damn real pain, Roland Martin. The 8 Senate Democrats and the damn leader, Chuck Schumer. They need to feel a little bit of pain, too. Because let's be honest, let's keep it a buck. If they would have just continued to buckle down and hold the line, we wouldn't be back here. Our Senate Democrats, the Democrats in the House of Representatives under Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, were fighting with all they had to avoid this outcome. They told the line. They educated the American people. They had the support of not only Black America, but the entire country behind them. Polls were in their favor. Americans showed up in record numbers last Tuesday to make their voices heard when we had a blue wave across this country, and we won in places like Georgia and Mississippi that we didn't think that we would win. Only to have 8 members of the Senate under leader Schumer turn around, betray the American people, betray their party, and then say, we give up, we cave, for whatever reason they had to do that. So they need to feel a bit of pain too, and I think it's incumbent upon us to make sure they feel that pain. Give these people not a moment of rest. Yes, this is absolutely the fault of Republicans. Yes, this is absolutely the cruelty, the harm that they want to inflict. But in this situation, some Democrats have some blame too. Not all Democrats, but some Democrats. And I want them to feel a little bit of pain too, because we, the American people, we are feeling pain. The 42 million people that were going without SNAP benefits, feeling pain. But I want to emphasize the 42 million people that were impacted by SNAP being allocated, that did not force these 8 Democrats to turn cold and give up. It wasn't the healthcare workers and all the people that are being forced to work that aren't getting paid. That did not make them cave. It was the inconvenience of travel and people that have the means of travel and businesses affected by travel that caused them to cave. Let's not let them off the hook either. Make them feel a little bit of pain.
Absolutely. So we'll see where this House debate goes. But again, I think they have the 218 votes. It's going to be very narrow because they only have a 3-vote majority in the House, but we'll keep you all abreast of what's going on there.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.